On the internet, one may encounter a claim that Seaworld rescued Tilikum from Sealand, as if it were a gesture done with Tilikum's welfare in mind. It wasn't. When cetaceans are brought in from other countries, permits to import the animals are required and must be applied for. There's a potentially lengthy process involved, and the permits can be subject to legal challenges. In some situations, especially where a delay can mean poor outcomes for the animal in question, emergency import authorizations, much expedited from the usual, can be requested. But the situation must warrant them. Seaworld stood by and allowed Tilikum's situation at Sealand to become dire so they could seek this authorization and ensure that they gained possession of him, as opposed to letting the usual more thorough permitting process take place. This isn't an empty claim. The entire document is linked in the description. Here's the key portion.
Both Sealand and Seaworld had at least 2 months advance knowledge of the imminent birth of at least one killer whale calf. Sealand is responsible for these animals and should have taken steps to ensure that arrangements were made to hold Tilikum at or nearby the Sealand facility, or at another facility in Canada, following such births. Seaworld presumably has a significant interest in the well-being of these animals as well, and in the capacity of advising Sealand on their care, should have taken such steps, even if Sealand elected not to do so. The present need for an emergency import authorization could have been prevented. However, such reasonable and prudent precautionary steps, necessary for the health and welfare of Tilikum, were not taken by Sealand or Seaworld.
It is important to know that at this time, the early 90s, Seaworld was desperate for sexually mature male killer whales for their fledgling breeding program. Tilikum had already sired 2 calves while at Sealand, so he was very desirable on this front. Seaworld was demonstrably willing to forego not only Tilikum's welfare in this pursuit, but as we've unfortunately seen many times now, that of its own employees. Take a look at this snippet from a 1992 Orlando Sentinel article, where Tilikum's role in Keltyburn's death was being discussed.
Seaworld officials said they do not want the accident duplicated, but they have downplayed the issue. In Seaworld's request to import the animals, it never mentioned the death, although federal regulators say they told the company to address the issue. When pressed by fisheries officials for information, park officials balked, and then stated in a letter that they never read any reports or records about the death. The Canadian park is closing its killer whale exhibit and selling its animals to Seaworld largely because of the death.
Unfortunately, despite Seaworld getting exactly what they wanted out of Tilikum, the disinformation never stopped. One of the most flagrant examples was a video Seaworld posted shortly before Tilikum's death. The video was titled, "Caring for Tilikum the Killer Whale," and in it, a startling claim was made.
His dorsal fin had that same curve to it. His tail flukes had that same curve to them. And his teeth, they looked a lot like they do today.
Now, to be clear, Sealand did close in 1992, and its whales had to be moved somewhere. Seaworld did, objectively, improve Tilikum's living situation. Though who knows what the other outcomes could have been for many individuals had the permitting process gone differently. Rest in peace, Tilikum.